Good morning, everyone. Leah Dixon from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am live this morning with my regular weekly card class to go. This week, I am featuring the Share a Milkshake stamp set and the coordinating dies. These two products are sold separately. They're no longer bundled because they're from a previous publication, but they're still in our annual catalog, and I haven't had a chance to really play with them and share them with you. So I thought this was the perfect week to do that. Sorry for being a few minutes late. I had a few kids to get out the door that were being a little bit slow this morning. So here we go. I'm going to switch over to just my desktop and we will get started. Let's see, not remove, solo layout. There we go. So this is our stamp set and I just love it. It's got like the little ice cream bowl as well as the large milkshake jar and the fun straw and some great sentiments. It does have the Be My Valentine in there, which is nice as well for the odd Valentine's card that I need to make, but mostly I would use this for birthdays and just celebrating awesome friends. So let's get started. You may have seen some of the photos of today's cards, but let's really dive into them. And if you are watching, I see there's a few of you. If you want to pop a comment into the comment box, I would love to see who's joining me. So yeah, I can see both from Facebook and from YouTube. And if you haven't signed in with StreamYard, then just tack your name onto the end of your hello so I know who you are. If you have signed in with StreamYard, then your name will show up for me. So this is our first card, and it's kind of a little fun flip card. So this part flips open, and then that part flips open, and then you can write your message on the inside like that. Oh, hey, Stacy. So that is our first little card we're going to get creating. But before we do, I'm just going to share with you where this paper came from. Because right now we actually have two fantastic sales going on today. We have our designer series paper sale that's going on all month long, 15% off some select ones, including this one. And then today only we have free shipping. So when you put those two together, that's a heck of a lot of savings. So this is the Delightfully Eclectic. Oh, wow. Why is that going so crazy? This is the Delightfully Eclectic 12 by 12 designer series paper. It is a little bit more expensive than our other packs because you actually get 48 sheets of paper. There are 12 two-sided designs, so really 24 designs in here, and you get 4 sheets of each at the big 12 by 12 size. But it's 15% off and free shipping today. So if you've had your eye on this one or you see it today and you love it, it's a great day to grab it. So I'll show you the front sides of all of these. So this is the stripes. Oh, wow. I hope this doesn't keep going crazy on me. We've got our strawberries. We're using that one today. We've got our hearts, some swans, some really fun floral. Let's see here. Come on. Some bubble bath pink stripes. This is my favorite pink right now. Some really funky geometric shapes. And we actually have punches now that coordinate with these two shapes, the X and the I don't know if it's really a star, but the nice quilting shapes. We actually have punches for those now. Some daisies. Those ones just make me smile. Some really fun, just geometric patterns. Some more floral. But these ones are nice because there's kind of a circle on there. So you could actually like die cut around that. Let's actually just see. I think that it's going to fit, but let's just double check. The Stylish Shapes circle would just come in there and nicely cut out that, and yeah, that would be really, really nice. Okay, so we've got that. Some polka dots, but they're kind of funky, like not even polka dots. They're cool. And some gorgeous bright flowers. Now that's only half the designer series paper pack. I love this one. The pretzels, they're so cute. So we've got pretzels on the other side, really cool like pinwheel type thing, again in bubble bath. So happy. We've got the Scrabble tiles, use it as a background, cut them out to spell things, you know, kind of have fun with that. That cool geometric shape again, but a little bit smaller. Some more polka dots, but just slightly different, almost like animal printish. Some more flowers. These ones are cool. The old ledger style paper. Love it. So if you're a scrapbooker, this one's great, or cut it up and use bits of it as a background on a card. Super cool. A lot of these are now twisted sideways. Interesting. Okay. This one, I don't think it's meant to be lemons, but I just can't help but see lemons when I look at this one. Another ledger, but in kind of that like vanilla, you know, worn out paper kind of look. I love it. And then the lines are in like a nice deep orange, probably crushed curry. Just a really nice masculine pattern. Hello, I'm just showing the delightfully eclectic paper that I'm using for today's cards. This is on sale, 15% off, and free shipping today only. And so there's some more floral. So I'm just sharing this fantastic paper. It's a giant pack, 48 sheets of 12 by 12. And yeah, today's the day to grab that if you haven't already. So we're going to get started now on our first card. And this actually uses only one piece of designer series paper, but we use both sides of it. So here we go. Grab all those. And the first thing we're going to do is kind of create the actual card, because it is that flip design. So there is a little bit of like construction to do before we start decorating. So you've got your card and it folds, but not all the way across. And then you've got this little piece that just has the 1/2 inch fold on it. We're actually going to take this, we're going to put some adhesive on the inside there. You could use tear and tape or Seal Plus, liquid glue, whatever you're comfortable with. I personally like to use tear and tape for this kind of thing because I know that it's strong and will hold my piece in place. So I'm going to put tear and tape on what will be the inside of that fold. And peel that off. And then I'm going to take my large piece of white, kind of eyeball this top to bottom. I want equal borders. And put that on there. So now this is going to flip over top of that piece of basic white, just like that. Okay. So with that done and that flipping open like that, we can now take this whole piece and glue it inside our card, just like we would any regular liner. We just want to make sure that that flap goes to the outside edge. All right. Oh, of course. No glue. All right, this one has some glue in it. Here we go. So, there we go. So I like to use my liquid glue, but you can use whatever you would normally use to adhere a liner to the inside of a card. And when we put this one in, we're just really focusing on the white and lining the white up as we would normally. Okay. There we go. So now when our card closes, the front closes and then the other side flaps over. Okay, so I am going to grab my bone folder because as you can see, my card does not want to stay closed. There we go. And there we go. Now my card will close. Beautiful. All right, now we get to have all the fun of decorating. So I am going to grab my liquid glue again. So you can see this paper, it's the two sides. So you can even switch it around if you'd rather have the pinwheels there and the strawberries on the front. Do it how you'd like. I really like the Calypso coral behind the strawberries, so that's what I'm going to go with. So This is the one that you see the most of, so it's the one I wanted to be my favorite pattern. There we go. And on this side, this is not a square, just be aware. So you're going to see that it doesn't fit quite right that way. When we turn it this way, it'll fit nicely bordered on there. So just make sure that you get that turned the right way when you put it down. It's only a 1/4 inch off, but that 1/4 inch makes a big difference. Okay, so I'm just putting a little bit of liquid glue on the back of this piece of Designer Series paper, and then come in and do that. All right, so that's all done. We can now start our stamping. Everything else on here is stamped. The only thing that's kind of special is that we have used one of our tailor-made tags. And so I actually have these here somewhere to show you guys. So the tailor-made tags, it's quite the set. You get lots of different layering tags as well as the fun little eyelets to go around the holes. And so we've used these on 2 of our cards today. Those will all be pre-cut in your kits though. So if you don't have them, don't worry. But if you don't have them, check them out and see how much you love them, because I know you will. They're fabulous. All right, so we do have this piece of basic white cardstock here. And this is where we're going to do some stamping. So we have to create our milkshake. So I'm going to start with the image that is the full milkshake glass. And I'm going to stamp that in 2nd generation balmy blue. And what that means is I'm going to stamp it off. So I'm going to ink up my glass, I'm going to stamp it off on there, and then I'm going to stamp it on here. So we get a much lighter look. And then we've got our glass that has all the stripes. Now the trick to this one is that you're lining up this edge with the edge of what you've already stamped. And this one we're going to do in full strength. So I'm going to come in here, line up the top corner and the bottom corner. And if you don't get this one quite perfect, it's okay, because we're die cutting it. And so you can kind of fix any mistakes with the die cut. All right, so you can see there we've got that cool 2-tone glass now. And now we just have to stamp some ice cream and a straw. I guess it's not really ice cream. It would be like the whipped cream on the top, but ours is going to be pink like ice cream. So there's our pink ice cream. That's just our bubble bath ink, full strength with the topping there. Oh, Louisa, yeah, they are on magnets. I actually just go to the dollar store, and these are magnetic sheets. They actually have a backing that peels off, like they're sticky backed. I just don't take the backing off. And so I just cut them to size to fit inside my sleeves that our dies come in, and then they're just way easier to use. So yeah, that's just a dollar store thingy. Kids craft section. I think you can also order them online, and you can buy them like actual ones that are meant for this, but then those ones cost a fortune. All right, so we've got our ice cream, and now I'm going to stamp our straw, but I'm not stamping the whole straw. I'm just stamping the one that looks like the stripes. We'll get the rest of our straw shape when we cut this out. Now, if you are placing an order today to get this card kit, you don't have the stamp set and dies. All of your actual die cut bits that are independent of a stamp will be die cut for you in the kit. But things like this won't be, which just means you're going to have to fussy cut them if you don't have the dies. So it's not the end of the world, but it's also not the easiest thing. So yeah, just something to consider. On some of the other cards, there are fancy bits that came in the die set that don't have a stamp that coordinates. Those pieces are already die cut for you in your kit, but all these other ones are not. Kind of hard to die cut it for you when, I don't know how you're going to stamp them, and it's hard to stamp on a die cut. All right, so now we just line up all of our bits. And the coolest thing about this one is that the ice cream topper, it die cuts a little slit in it to put your straw through. It's so cool. All right, so I'll show that to you once we get these cut. So I just lined up all those dies, pop our plate down over top, and roll that through. Oh, knocking over all my adhesives. Crazy. Okay, so there's our bits. So let's pull those all out of the way. And I'll show you here on this little piece of ice cream that we die cut. It's got a little swoosh on there, and that is so that you can go ahead and stick a straw in there or stick a cherry in there or whatever you want to do. So it's kind of a cool one that it does that for you. All right, so with those pieces done, we're going to start sticking them together. Now if you watch my videos, you know I'm a lazy stamper. Don't do anything extra that you don't have to do. So I've got this straw stuck through there on my ice cream. I'm just going to flip this over and put a dimensional right on there. That's going to hold my straw in place and be part of my adhesive to stick this whole thing together. Then I'm going to take that ice cream topper and put it on top of my glass. And again, with that in place, I'm going to flip that over and use a dimensional to glue them together. Super lazy. And then I'll just put 2 more dimensionals on here to hold everything else in place. And that is ready to go onto our card front as soon as we get our sentiment done. So we're going to now stamp our sentiment. Now I am going to use an optional material here from our embossing additions kit. This is our embossing buddy, and it just is like, I don't know if it's cornstarch or what it is, but the idea is you rub it over top of your cardstock and it's going to remove any oils from your hands or anything else that your embossing putter may want to stick to. Okay, then our sentiment for this one is life is sweeter with you. So I have that over here somewhere. There we go. Life is sweeter with you. And I'm going to stamp this in Versamark. All of our sentiments today, I believe, are in Versamark. And then embossed with white embossing powder. If you don't have this, just go ahead and like use a pink on here, use a blue, use a black even. So I'm stamping that right on that label, kind of as far to the right as I can. We're just going to try and hide the hole on this one, so I don't want to get too close to it. Now I am getting low on white powder. I'm going to have to do something about that. So I've just got my white powder. I keep it in a tray, so it's always ready to go. You might have yours in a little jar like how Stampin' Up! Sells it. And these come as a pack. It's called the Basics embossing powder. And so you get white, black, clear, I think. I'm not actually sure now. I've forgotten. But there's one that's metallics and one that's like your other basic colors. So put the white powder on there. And now I am going to heat this up, but this is going to be a bit tricky to hold on to and not burn my hands. So part of that embossing additions kit are the reverse tweezers. So I'm just going to grab those, and here we go. All right, so there is our sentiment all done, and we can now attach that with dimensionals. So I'm just going to flip that over, pop 2 dimensionals on the back, and I'm going to bring my card in here and kind of see where do I want this, because I want my milkshake kind of coming off the edge there, and I want my sentiment not going off the other edge. So, and then I'm just going to look at my designer series paper to see where I'm lining it up. So I'm kind of putting it just above the V on the second set of squares. Okay, so second set of squares just above the V, and you can use your DSP to help you get it on there straight. So that's kind of nice. All right, then I'm going to peel off these backings and attach my milkshake to the front of my card. Again, I'm going to use the DSP to help me get it all straight. There. And then the last thing to do is to decorate. And I am going to be using our adhesive back sequins trio. I love these ones. It's Berry Burst, Pretty Peacock, and White. And yeah, they're just fantastic. So I'm just really littering these all over my card front, like kind of just go wild with them. Okay, there we go. So just sprinkle them all over and have a lot of fun with that. Now, if you are the type of person, which I am, who likes to decorate your envelopes, the other thing we can do is do a little bit of decorating. I'm actually going to do, I think, my hearts. And I'm going to stamp some on the inside as well as on my envelope using my bubble bath. So some bubble bath ink, and just pop a few of those right there on the front. And I'm also going to, oh, darn it, I put my dimensional a little too far over and just basically glued my card shut. I'm going to put these ones inside where we can't see them. Okay, and now I'm going to do a little fixaroo with that dimensional so that we aren't gluing our card closed. So there's a few options here. I can just put a piece of basic white over top of that. The other thing I can do is actually grab my embossing buddy and run that over top of it. Just tap it a few times and it puts that powder over top of the sticky part and makes it not sticky. Okay, and then the third option would be just to entirely move it over. But that embossing buddy works really well for getting rid of the stick. So now that one's all good and it's not going to stick closed anymore. All right, so that's our first card all done. I just think it's so fun. And you could totally change up that sentiment, make it a birthday card, like whatever you wanted to do. Make it a congratulations card for grad. Yeah, just a really, really fun one. Okay, our second card is definitely a celebration card. We've got the word celebrate right across there. And again, because it's just celebrate, I love it because it could be for anything. Like it's not a birthday card per se. We're just celebrating. So this one is all die cut pieces. So if you don't have the dies, don't worry. All your pieces are going to come pre-die cut. And I added a little touch. That's probably not the best one to show it off. Here, Petal Pink will show it off. I added a little touch to the ice cream in that I used the Painted Textures embossing folder, 3D embossing folder. And after I cut the ice cream, I have embossed it for you to give it, you know, how when you scoop ice cream, it's not got like a smooth finish to it. It's kind of all lumpy and bumpy and textured. So I've used that embossing folder to do that. So this one, we're just going to do our one tiny bit of stamping, which is just our sentiment, our celebrate, and that's on a piece of Night of Navy cardstock. So again, got my embossing buddy, go over that, find my celebrate. Oh, I think I need to clean this. I think I used it with red ink last night. it doesn't totally destroy your Versamark pad to put colored ink in it, but it's really not pretty to look at. So clean that up. So I've got my Celebrate. Let's see if I can stamp this one straight. And I do find that going up and down really helps with that. And I do want to try and stamp this closer to the edge. There we go. No, I do not like how that turned out. So I'm going to flip that over. Oh, and I'm going to remember to Embossing Buddy this, which I'm going to do both sides. Get rid of that so nothing sticks to that side later. All right, Embossing Buddy. There we go. And try that again. Okay, let's put our paper straight. Our words straight. There we go. Much better. Okay. So with that stamped, I'm going to get my white embossing tray back up here. Run that through the white powder. And maybe a second time. There we go. And you'll notice that not much extra sticks to this, and that's the joy of that Embossing Buddy. It really does its job. Okay, again, I'm going to hold that with my reverse tweezers, and we're going to heat this up. There we go. All right. So with that stamping done, we can start putting our card together. This one goes together so smoothly, so quickly. I'm going to grab a piece of basic white. You've got two of them. They're exactly the same size, so it doesn't matter which one you grab. And then you want your designer series paper and the sentiment we just created. Now, I have this little piece of like orange off there on the side. So I'm actually going to turn this around so that that orange gets hidden away. And I'm just going to put some glue on the back of this. Very, very thin layer. And I'm going to stick this to my card front. So it's totally lined up with the one edge. Okay. There we go. Then I'm going to grab my Celebrate and do the same thing. Tiniest bit of glue on the back. And put that in there. Line it up against the one edge. Make sure it's straight. And then finally, our second piece of DSP. And again, I'm going to hide that little strip of Calypso Coral behind all of our images. So I'm putting it off to the left. And just like that. So we've got 3 little strips across the bottom right-hand side of our card front. Now this whole layer can get glued to the front of our card front or card base. Okay, so you can see I don't use very much glue here. I really get a droplet and then I drag it and spread it out so it's a very thin layer. There's a few reasons for that. Then you don't have glue gushing out the sides, but also because then it dries quickly and adheres quickly and doesn't move around on you once you've got it placed. Okay, so there we go. There's our card front. Now it is liquid glue, so at first you do have some leeway to wiggle it, and then you can press it down and it's stuck. Okay, and I'm going to take this one and pop it to the inside of our card. Okay, so that one goes in there. All right. Oops, I bent my piece. Yikes. All right, now we get to start gluing stuff down. Well, not really gluing. We're going to use dimensionals for a good chunk of this. And I am going to use some Seal Plus, or you could use mini glue dots, whatever you'd like. But this piece here, I want going on right there. So just kind of above the navy, I've just put a little dash of Seal Plus, and then that's going to go into it. Now, I'm not worried about that being sticky through the mesh because I'm putting my ice cream cone over top of it, so we're not even going to notice any stickiness there. Now, you've got this crazy piece in your kit. This is actually your ice cream cone, and it folds just like that. Okay, so with it folded, we're now going to open up this side. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive in there, and we're going to fold it closed again. So now our ice cream cone is going to stay closed for us. Now this piece, I won't necessarily put a dimensional behind it because it's quite bulky already. So I'm just going to do a strip of seal again on the back, and we can stick that down right onto our card front right away. Okay, now with that done, we can start adding in our ice cream cones. Now I am going to be a little bit lazy here. I'm going to stack them first. Actually, let's just do one at a time. I'm going to stack them first and glue them together per se with dimensionals. So just like that. And then grab our chocolate for the top. And just like that. A little bit lazy. And then put a couple extras down there to hold that onto our cone. All right, so yeah, I got 6 dimensionals on there. It's all good. Your ice cream cone's not going to fall over. And then we just find that there, pop those on. So voila, you've got your ice cream on your cone, and we're all set. Now these little guys, I actually prefer to use mini glue dots on the back of them or liquid glue. They're just a little bit tricky for using seal with. So I am just going to pick up my heart, find my first glue dot on the roll here, and push it onto the glue dot, and then peel it off with the glue dot and let it stick. Okay, and we're just going to do that for all 3 of the hearts. Okay, and this little one, you got to work it down into the point. That's really the only place that the whole glue dot will fit. Okay, so we've got those on there. And then we can decorate our envelope and add our embellishments. So for this one, I'm going to use the hearts again to decorate my envelope, but this time I'm going to use them in Calypso Coral. I actually didn't put Calypso Coral ink as one of our things because this is kind of just the bonus. You don't need it to make the cards. You could go ahead and do bubble bath hearts on here. It'd be just fine. I just figured because we've got the Calypso Coral ones here, we'll do that on our envelope as well. Oh, thank you. So then the next thing we need to do is grab our, there they are, our sequins. And again, I just had a lot of fun sprinkling these kind of everywhere. And maybe up like that. Okay, so just like that, and just really made a fun little mess of sequins on there. All right, so that is our second card for today. And yeah, just a really fun, cute celebration card. All right, and our last card, I don't know, it might be my favorite one. There we go. It's Lost Lagoon. I think it's because it's the Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock with the bubble bath. It's like all my favorite colors together. So this one, we're actually going to start with our stamping right onto your card base. And it's the very first thing you're going to do because everything kind of lines up around it. So let's grab a bone folder and actually get this card closed. That's going to make this a lot easier. There we go. And then we're going to use our embossing buddy There we go. And you're the cherry on top with some Versamark. So this is getting to be pretty familiar steps here. We stamp our image with Versamark, we heat emboss it with the white powder, and then we are good to go. So this one's going down quite low and into the bottom right corner. There we go. Grab our white powder. This one's a bit trickier to do because it's on the open edge of the card. I could try opening the card. There we go. That might make it a bit easier. One more pass. So this is where not keeping your stuff in a tray actually makes this easier, because you could have just put it right on top out of the small container. So I just brushed off some excess, give it a little tap, and that looks great. So we're ready to heat emboss that. And I don't actually need my tweezers to heat emboss this one because I have a whole card to hold on to. So here we go. And that is our sentiment done. So now we can start creating the rest of our card. So we have a basic white to put on the inside of this card again. I know the colors I've used are light enough to write in, but I just always like the look of a liner inside the card. This makes it feel a bit more finished to me. Okay, so we'll get that liner in there so it's out of the way. There we go. Then we're going to take our designer series paper and we're just going to glue that right on top of our card. And so you can kind of decide how far above your sentiment you want it to be. And I'm just using liquid glue to do that. There we go. Excellent. So I love that a couple of the hearts on here are colored in as well. It's just kind of an extra little touch. Okay, so now we have a whole bunch of pieces in our envelope. Let's dump those all out. There we go. And I'm going to start by taking my two tailor-made tags. So this is that same tag set again that I used on the first card. And I'm going to kind of layer them over top of each other and then just lift one up and put a bit of adhesive. So now they're stuck together. Okay, now they're not going to move and I'm going to have the exact kind of angle that I want. We're going to grab those little hearts that we had before, clean them off because I put Calypso Coral on them. And we're going to stamp in Bubble Bath a set of hearts at the top and a set of hearts at the bottom. So right up at the top and right down at the bottom. And while we're at it, let's grab our envelope. And let's pop open the card and we'll throw a few in there as well. Okay, so that's all done. Super neat. Put that too far away because we're going to use it again in a moment. But that is ready to go onto our card. So we're going to take our ribbon and we're going to push it through from the back, both sides of our ribbon. And once we've got a little loop there, we're going to actually take these two pieces through the loop and then keep pulling. And at this point, you might want to just Might have to just shuffle it a little bit. There we go. And so you keep pulling until you've got a nice knot right at the top and your two little pieces coming out. Now we're going to grab dimensionals and attach this tag to our card front. So I'm just using 3 down the back. You could do 4 and do the 4 corners, however you want to. And I want this coming down a bit, down beside our sentiment, just like that. And now that I've got that placed, this is where I'll trim those ribbons. I didn't want to trim them before because I didn't want to make them too long or too short. So I'm going to come in now. I like my ribbons to not go off my card because then they fit nicer into an envelope. They don't get bent and then they don't look good when they get to where they're going. All right. So we've got that done. Now we just have to add the ice cream bits, and you've got your little die cut spoon there. We'll add him on later once we know where our ice cream is. So this part, we've got 2 pieces here. We're going to do a bit more stamping. So last time we used the big ice cream with the slit in it. This time we're going to use the little ice cream. Again, we're using bubble bath. So I'm going to stamp my bubble bath ice cream on there. And I'm going to grab my sweet sorbet ink again and the little cherry stamp. Now, if you have sweet early espresso ink, you could try and come in there with the ink pad and cover up the stem. You could also just grab a black marker. And if you have the marker sets and have the early espresso marker, that's actually what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to color the stem, like even before I ink, like stamp it, I'm going to color the stem in early espresso. And then I'm going to stamp it. Okay, that way we have our cherry with the darker stem. You could do that however you wanted, with inks, with felt pens, with a different color. You know, whatever is going to work for you. All right, so we've got those done. We're going to die cut those in a second. But first of all, we're going to stamp our base. But this time we do have the whole base. And if you don't have the dies, you may want to stamp the whole base so you have a shape to follow. But because I'm working on Pool Party, I am just going to grab actually balmy blue ink because it's going to blend in nicely when we stamp it on there and just look like a dark version of Pool Party. And that way we don't need another ink color today. I'm going to put the balmy blue ink on there of just the extra accents. And then we're going to die cut all these parts. So let's grab that. Grab our machine, grab our plates. Pop these in here. And so when let's just see, when I do this one, the solid edge, I'm going to line the die up with that. There we go. And so that one's all lined up. And then there is one for the cherry, and there's one for the ice cream top. And so the cherry's nice. They've put a little hole at the top. And so as long as you can see your cherry, so line this up around your cherry, and then as long as you can see the stem in the little hole, then you've got the stem lined up properly. Okay, and then our ice cream like that. And here we go. Hopefully my cherry didn't slip. I think it did, but we'll see. Oh, it didn't. Yay. Good. Okay, so now we have all of our little ice cream bits. And put those dies back. Awesome. And we can start gluing it all together. Well, you know me, I'm not actually going to glue it together. We're going to start putting it all together with dimensionals. So we'll start with putting the ice cream in the bowl. So I'm just putting the ice cream there so it looks like it's in the bowl. And then I'm going to put a dimensional on the back. Where'd they go? Those are the minis. Oh, they're there. And I'm just going to hold that together like that. And that side together like that. So there's our little ice cream bowl. Now we have the chocolate topping, the chocolate syrup. That one's pre-cut for you, and we're going to use mini glue dots to attach that to our card front. So I'm just going to take that chocolate, pick up a mini glue dot, and then this one actually lines up perfectly across the curve of the top of your ice cream. There we go. So that's like that. And then another little one on the back of our cherry. And that's going to let us pop that onto the top of this little ice cream cone or ice cream bowl. Now, at this point, if you wanted to, you could grab another dimensional and put that in there. That's just going to hold that in place and keep it popped up on your card front a little bit. So we can peel those off, and actually I'm going to grab one more dimensional. I'm going to grab a mini and put it down in the base of our bowl. There we go. If you don't have the minis, you could always cut up a big one and put it down there. All right, now this goes onto our tag, just like that. And then our spoon just gets attached with a single mini glue dot. So I just put it right on the spoon. Put the spoon right on here like it's coming in for a little scoop. And voila. And then finally, we're going to add our sequins. So let's see, there they are. This time I'm just using the Pretty Peacock ones. And I only used 3 on this one. Just kind of kept it simple. Okay, just like that. And we're done. So that is our 3rd card all created. So you can see there's lots of different ways to stamp these ice creams. Stamp them, just cut them out. Like, you've got so many options. You could even put together the milkshake and the little ice cream dish with no stamping and just use the dies. So like lots and lots of options. So those are this week's Card Class to Go's 3 cards. In your kit, if you place a $60 order, you would get enough stuff to make 2 of each of these. You just need to have your inks and adhesives and stamp set at home. But today, if you're placing an order, I highly recommend placing a $100 order, because then you get the Make and Take kit. You get your own pack of sequins from me. That's with a $70 order. And with a $100 order, you also get free shipping, which is a huge savings. And if you wanted to make more of these cards and have more of the cardstock at home, that Delightfully Eclectic DSP is actually on sale 15% off as well. So it's kind of like a smoking deal, a great day to place an order and get a kit. Of course, this kit will be available all week long. Any order placed before 9 p.m. on Sunday night will qualify. But I'd hate to see you miss out on the free shipping. So if you're seeing this on June 21st, before our sale ends, it ends at midnight Mountain Time, so 11 p.m. here in British Columbia. Today's the day. Oh, Lila, I know, aren't they sweet? I think you have this set. You should definitely do some creating with it. Yeah, it's just a super fun one. So thanks so much for joining me today. I will be live again next week for sure with my weekly card class. And if I get a chance, I will go live on the weekend if my paper pumpkin arrives. It hasn't arrived yet, but I'm not sure because my parents are actually coming into town on Thursday, so tomorrow, and staying for the weekend to celebrate my youngest son's birthday, my dad's birthday, and my oldest son's graduation. So super, super busy weekend. So I'm not sure I'll have a chance to pop on and show you guys the newest paper pumpkin, but I will as soon as I have a free moment. Otherwise, I'll see you next Wednesday. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.